I am going to start now. If everyone could just mute themselves. If you have questions, please put them in the chat. First thing I want to say is I am so grateful to you that you've jumped over into Zoom. Thank you so much for your patience. I have so much I want to cover tonight, so it's just ironic that we've kind of lost some time. So I'm going to go really fast to make up some time. But this is a really passionate and important topic. We're going to talk about freeing yourself from the emotional burden of debt, how to attract more abundance and prosperity in your business and your life. So I know you're busy. We're all spinning plates, got a lot going on, so I'm not going to waste any time. I'm just going to move through this really quickly. So I invite you just to switch off any distractions for now. Please engage. If you've got questions, add them in the chat. This is a judgment-free, safe space that we're creating for you. And as a thank you for staying, you're going to get a free gift at the end of this masterclass. So I'm going to send you all a copy of my second edition book, Paid in Full. So first of all, let's just get clear on who this masterclass is for. So it really is for passionate entrepreneurs. I speak to passionate entrepreneurs because when you are struggling with financial lack and scarcity and you're in a place where you have debt, that will often diminish your ability to show up and really shine in your business. So this is who I'm most passionate about speaking to. So if you value personal growth, authenticity, integrity, and freedom, this is absolutely for you. And right now you want freedom from debt and to open up to your natural states of prosperity and abundance. So if that resonates with you, this class is absolutely for you. And I don't know what's brought you here, whether it's curiosity of what I'm going to say, or whether you just want to manifest more abundance, more prosperity, or you're in a position where you're actually feeling emotionally and physically kind of crippled by debt. Doesn't matter where you're at, there will be something here for you. So this class is for you. So I'm going to run through what you're going to learn this evening is the root cause of your debt and your financial scarcity, why debt repayment strategies, budgeting, and making sacrifices do not work in the long term for most people. You're going to learn how to break the debt cycle. We're going to talk about how to release the fears and limiting beliefs that are, let me just move that out of the way, that are blocking your natural states of joy, abundance, and financial well-being. How to enjoy greater peace of mind, profound levels of joy, and develop your unbounded prosperity consciousness, because the only lack is within your mindset. So I'm so excited to share this information with you guys. This stuff has changed my life. And literally when you get this, life becomes breathtaking. You're no longer stressed and anxious about money and debt, which then opens you up to more creativity, inspiration, and boundless energy. Think about how much energy you're expending when you are stressed and anxious about money. When you're free from that, you have access to unlimited energy. You transition every day more and more into a state of positivity and therefore into a state of receptivity to the possibilities around you. And I like to say there's gold dust in the air, because there really is. You attract more ideas and opportunities that will set you on your path to greater prosperity. And as you begin to feel more positive and excited day by day, you attract more to feel positive and excited about. It's a perpetual upward spiral. So you live your life more into your natural state of happiness. So before I go into kind of the main core content, I just want to check in and ensure that, check in with where you're at now. So I want to ask, do any of this sound familiar to you? So you have credit card debt, personal loans, or money that you owe to your family, and it has a stranglehold over you, and you feel a ton of negative emotion around it. Perhaps you don't feel fully able to enjoy your life while debt is there. You can't fully enjoy any income you get because you're constantly conscious that it has to go towards your debt. You're living in a state of constant hypervigilance, that fight or flight feeling. I remember waking up every morning with this feeling in my solar plexus that was just a feeling of anxiety constantly. You avoid dealing with your finances because the emotions are too painful and threaten to overwhelm you. It's hard to talk to loved ones. Maybe you don't want to face the questions and the judgment, so it's easier to keep it a secret. You might be scarred by past bankruptcy, so you're building debt again, and that thought terrifies you. You're frustrated, confused, and wondering why the law of attraction works in so many areas for you, but not your debt. And perhaps you've invested in programs and courses to grow your business, hoping this was how you'd make the money to clear the debt, but when it didn't work, it's left you feeling deeper in the hole, more confused, resentful, and even depressed. And possibly worst of all, I know this was for me, the burden of debt keeps you from playing full out in your business. You self-sabotage, you create feast or famine income patterns, and whilst you take so much action and get so close to your goals, it's like you've got a bungee rope on your back. You rebound back, yo-yoing and feeling like you're treading water. So if any of that sounds familiar, guys, then please just pay attention for the next hour or so, because this masterclass is absolutely for you. So I want to give you a quick introduction to me. If you don't know who I am, my name is Sanae Floyd. I am a business breakthrough coach and sales mentor. I've been coaching, mentoring, and training in sales and business for over 20 years. That's me, top picture with me and my twins. They're 17 now, 18 this year. I run a beautiful, thriving online coaching business, helping other coaches to scale and sell their services. I've attracted the love of my life. I do speaking gigs internationally, and I'm also a #1 best-selling author of the book Paid in Full. So life is sweet. However, you know what's coming. It wasn't always like this. So I just want to give you a quick kind of just a quick share about what life was like at one point. You know, although I'd had a lot of success in my business, I felt all those things I just described. The pain of financial lack was constantly hanging, constantly causing anxiety. And the one area that lurked in the background that I spent years imagining I had a handle on when I really didn't was my debt situation. I'd been in credit card debt with an ever-growing balance for over 23 years. And literally like a vice, it was getting worse and bringing me to my knees. I didn't appreciate at the time quite how debilitating it was until I started to shine a spotlight on that corner of my life. And I saw how I was allowing this debt to completely diminish my capacity to experience joy. So maybe you can relate to this. But I hit rock bottom. I had my turning point, and I decided, and this is why I started this project, to become paid in full and chronicle my journey. But it was really dark. And, you know, I'll tell you, I was so full of self-doubt and shame. My self-worth was on the floor. And I didn't even realize how exhausted I was and how burdened I was by my debt until I started to scratch the surface and see what was really going on. I was emotionally spent, spinning my wheels, and literally believing I was doomed to a life of debt and dependency. And I felt like a fool because my bookshelf had so many books about wealth and money and the law of attraction and all of this, and yet financially I was a mess. So that's where I was. And it wasn't until I hit my rock bottom that I decided that I needed to change, that I needed to shine a spotlight, because it wasn't for lack of trying to pay off my debt that I was in this situation. And year on year, I tried new strategies, new repayment apps, new budgeting. I made sacrifices. And yet every year it just seemed to be worse. So when I finally discovered what I'm going to teach you tonight, my life just opened up completely. I didn't realize quite what a magical and spiritual journey I was embarking on. So this, and as a result, I paid my debt off, published my book. All happened within 9 months, and I was 50,000 in debt. I should share that with you. Plus I had some back taxes up to the tune of 10,000. So I fell up to my knees, and I was a single mother. So, you know, I didn't have any other source of income apart from my business. So I needed to have a state of mind that was enable me to make money. But having broke out of that and discovering the levels of joy that I can't describe to you. I just want you to experience it. It's really, this is why I'm on a mission to help entrepreneurs free themselves from the burden of debt and live the best lives now. Now more than ever, the world needs coaches, therapists, healers, and change makers to raise the consciousness of the planet, to uplift humanity for this and future generations. We all have a part to play. And when you're expressing your authentic gifts and purpose, free from stress and shame, you experience the natural order of flow and affluence. That is the natural order of our universe. So let's dive in. Let me clear up the biggest misunderstanding that I see in our culture today. Debt is not the problem. Debt is a result. When you consider the universal law of cause and effect, debt is at the effect end. And so when you try to fix the debt by applying external applications such as budgeting, debt consolidation, or management plans, you're working at the effect end of the issue. This never works. I kind of liken it to when we go on a diet, you know, the body shape we have, the weight we have, that is the effect. And so when we try and diet and we cut back and we exercise and we restrict ourselves and sacrifice our favorite foods, we lose weight in the short term, but statistics show that if anyone's lost a dramatic amount of weight from dieting, within 2 years, they've put that weight back on. It never works in the long term. We're dealing with the effect, and you know, it just isn't going to work. Plus, the feeling of stress and anxiety that we have around lack of money and money worries and debt, it impairs our judgment. It clouds our ability to make conscious, wise choices and discerning decisions. So this is why we kind of perpetuate the state of being and the state of our reality and our finances. So you've got to work on the cause. So when it comes to debt and financial scarcity, what is the cause? Well, it is shame. Shame and all the associated negative beliefs lie at the root of your debt and financial scarcity. It's not surprising, really, considering that we've been raised in a society to see debt as bad. It's even called bad debt. And so if we have debt, we equate that to make us feel bad. It somehow makes us bad people. And even money is a taboo at the family dining table. You know, how many times when you were growing up did you hear your parents tell you not to talk about money, or, you know, you can't ask how much somebody earns, that's rude, or money is the root of all evil, or, you know, all these expressions that we were raised with that gave us this fearful beliefs around money that made us feel like, well, we should be ashamed to talk about it. We can't talk about it. So that shame can manifest as feelings of guilt, fear, anger, depression, defensiveness, frustration, and so on. And that makes us hide. So at the root of every emotion is a belief. Your beliefs about what having debt means about you and your worthiness as a human being creates the negative emotion. When the truth is, nothing has any meaning except the meaning we give it. Debt is just debt. It's neither good nor bad. It just is. And yet you suffer. You feel stuck because deep down you're harboring limiting beliefs that keep your negative shame-based emotions locked in place, which is why you feel triggered, stressed out, anxious, and worried about your finances and debt. So it's like you're in a loop. You see your credit card debt, or you think about it, you get a bill or an unexpected debit goes out. You look at that, you instantly have an emotional response to it that's habituated. That emotional response then fuels your mind to start feeling panic and thinking, oh, I can't afford this, I'm scared. And then you behave in a way that doesn't serve you, whatever that is. You can't make wise choices when you're in this level of stress. So it creates a loop. So maybe you've watched The Secret and try to harness the power of the law of attraction to attract more money and a debt-free reality, but it didn't work. Now that can leave you really confused. Well, the truth again is that the law of attraction is never not working. You've probably heard people say, it's like gravity, it's never not working. But when you're thinking about, well, why isn't it working for my finances? Well, the truth is you attract by virtue of your dominant vibrational frequency. So your dominant vibrational frequency is determined by your habitual thoughts and feelings. So these are thoughts and feelings that have become beliefs that began early in your life, and probably in your childhood. So as you develop these thoughts, they became beliefs because you experienced evidence of them in reality. They became a part of your state of being, which is habitual thoughts and feelings. Every emotion carries a vibrational frequency. This is a chart that shows the human vibrational scale. So shame, as you can see, has the lowest vibrational frequency, down there with guilt and fear and apathy and grief. The lowest vibrational frequency is contracted, and if you've got that, by virtue of the law of attraction, you will attract anything that is a match to those low-level beliefs and corresponding emotions. So the only way out is through. What keeps the shame, with all its associated emotions and limiting beliefs, buried deep within? Well, the truth is we suppress painful emotions. We self-avoid through food and drink. We binge watch Netflix, and we, turn to social media. Anytime you flick over to social media, it's like a distraction. We distract ourselves from how we're really feeling. We deny by ignoring and not facing the problem head on. So it's actually like a pressure cooker in there. The more you push those feelings down, eventually they've got to come out somewhere. So they come out as your frequency, they come out as negative emotion, you feel bad. And that's what you end up manifesting. So you have to break the cycle by releasing those painful emotions first. When you release those painful emotions, you automatically raise your frequency. So I love the analogy of your frequency, your natural inherent joy being like a cork. And when you have these emotions and you suppress them, you hold them down because they're too painful to feel, you're holding that cork underwater. The minute you release those painful emotions, that cork can bob up to the surface. And that bobbing up to the surface is your natural state of joy, your natural state of happiness. So you will automatically raise your frequency when you release those painful emotions. You will also free yourself from the stress, so you're enabled to make conscious, wise decisions with discernment. And quite literally, I love this expression, you bubble with bliss. I got this from Deepak Chopra. He talks about, when you see a baby, babies bubble with bliss because they are in their natural state of joy and happiness. And I really feel that when you release those negative emotions, that becomes your natural state. It is so beautiful. So how do we do this? How do we release those painful emotions? Well, it's through awareness. Awareness is the solution. So the whole process of becoming paid in full and prospering, as I call it, equates to awareness on 4 levels. I'm going to teach these 4 levels. Basically, you've got physical, you've got the emotional, you've got the mental, and you've got the spiritual. With awareness comes truth. So let's talk about awareness at the physical level. So let's talk about awareness at the physical level. When you don't have awareness at the physical level, you are quite literally directionless. You're like a rudderless ship with no compass and not even a map. But when you have awareness at this physical level, you have absolute specificity and clarity in your direction. What you also do is you engage your brain at a very specific level. So let's talk about this a bit more. Awareness at the level of the physical means being clear and specific on your current situation as well as where you want to go. So it makes sense, doesn't it? You've got to set your goal. You've got to know where it is you want to go and the specifics. And like a GPS in your car, you've got to calibrate to your starting point. So this is about knowing your numbers. You don't need me to go into the virtues of goal setting here. That's a whole other topic. But you've got to have clarity in your starting point and where you want to get to. Now, when you do this, you're taking your power back. When you draw a line in the sand and take 100% responsibility for your results, you've got to know the detail. How much do you owe? To who do you owe it to? What are the interest rates on each of those loans? What are the terms of the loan or credit card? You've got to really dial into this information and get really clear. Now, to some of you, this may sound really easy. You may already have a spreadsheet. You may already know this, but I also know that for many, this is going to be really tough. It was for me. I had my head in the sand. I had no clue how much I owed. When I first hit rock bottom, I thought I owed about 35,000, when in actual fact, it was closer to 50,000. So when I actually had to sit down and log everything, it was frightening. So I know it can be difficult for many of you to face up to actually the reality, but it's absolutely critical. The other thing to know with the physical level awareness is that your brain is a goal-seeking organism. So when you set yourself a goal and you calibrate to your starting point and you have it all clear in your mind, as emotional as it can be, that clarity and specificity does a number of things. It creates structural tension in your brain. So when you have a vision of where you want to be in this paid in full reality, in this prospering reality, and it is different from the reality you are living now, your brain creates structural tension. And that's uncomfortable for your brain. It recognizes that, oh, we have this vision and the reality doesn't match the vision. That structural tension, it will do everything to close the gap. So when you hold to your vision, your brain will help you out. It will seek out all the resources and ideas that will help you. And it switches on what's called your reticular activating system, which acts like an antenna at the forefront of your brain that will bring into your awareness anything and everything that is a match to what you are focused on. Whatever is important to you in the moment, you will be drawn to in your experience, in your reality. So you will attract resources, people, conversations, books, ideas, clients, whatever you need, you will attract by virtue of what is important to you and using your reticular activating system. And the third thing is that when you have a clear vision, you're inspired and it pulls you. So I love this quote by Reverend Michael Beckwith. He says, pain pushes until vision pulls. So awareness at the physical level is really, really critical as your starting point. Okay, so let's talk about awareness at the emotional level. This is step 2, guys. So just imagine for a moment someone shouting at you because they're in pain and desperately trying to tell you how they feel, but you're ignoring them. And so they continue to shout and you ignore them some more. And the only way that they will stop shouting is when you stop ignoring them and you listen. This is what is happening in your body. Quite literally, that part of you that is in pain needs to be heard, which means it needs to be fully felt. When you stop and listen and feel those painful emotions, the intensity of the feelings will dissipate. The fact that we repress them is what keeps them so intense. The other thing, when you stop and listen and feel, this is very important, the message underpinning the emotional pain in your physical body can rise to the surface and reveal itself. You've got to allow your feelings to be felt with present moment awareness. Try not to push it away, change it, or control it, because what you resist persists. So I love this quote from Hale Dwoskin from the Sedona method. He said, resistance is insidious. It's one of the main things that stops us from having, doing, and being what we want in life. That's so true. So awareness at the emotional level frees us from that resistance and allows us to attract more of what we want. So this is really where you start breaking the cycle of perpetuating debt, lack, and financial scarcity, because you're interrupting your habitual pattern of response. It's literally like hitting the reset button, the emotional reset button. It is so, so powerful. So feel the feelings, allow them to dissipate. And when you allow them to dissipate, you move into the next level of awareness, which is awareness at the mental level. And as I said a bit earlier, with awareness comes truth. And this is where you start to step more and more into your power. So up to now, your limiting beliefs and chronic habits of thought that haven't served you, that have perpetuated lack and debt, have been submerged, held down deep by your emotions. Your emotions were so overwhelming that you couldn't hear anything else. So the mental awareness that arises brings with it breakthrough insights and clarity around what subconscious stories have been keeping you stuck. So let me share with you a quick example from my story. So one of my chronic beliefs, so when I sat in my feelings and I allowed myself to feel and release the intensity of the emotion, this chronic belief rose up. I never stick at anything, I'm undisciplined. So when that came up, it was like, oh God, that makes so much sense. And I looked around me, my results were a match to that belief. I had unfinished courses filling my inbox, even courses I'd bought and never even started. I had books on my shelf that were half read. I had an inability to stick to a budget because I never stick at anything, couldn't clear my debts because I'm undisciplined. There was so much evidence in my experience that were a match to that chronic belief. And they're pretty obvious, right? You know, we can't miss those. However, what I didn't quite connect to until I did this work was how this belief was impacting me vibrationally in a very important part of my life. And that was this belief was creating feast and famine income in my business. So guys, if you are experiencing feast and famine, if you're struggling to create consistent income, consistent client flow month in, month out, then consider what is the belief that is creating that feast or famine. You don't have to have feast or famine in your business. It's a choice based on your point of focus and your beliefs. So if I never stick at anything based on that chronic belief, then of course I'm a match to anything that is the result of inconsistency, feast and famine. So this is why you must raise awareness to your chronic habits of thought. I hope this is kind of making sense and giving you some insights and giving you some breakthroughs. Dismantling your limiting beliefs and change begins with this level of awareness. Step 3, mental level awareness. And this is freedom. This is real freedom because you get to choose what to believe. You get to choose. This is the ultimate freedom. You get to ask yourself, once you have awareness of the belief, you can ask, does this belief serve me? Do I want to keep this belief? Or is it really hindering me in my life and my business and my prosperity? When you uncover the belief and you know that it's not serving you, what would be a more empowering belief? This is where you can find the antidote. This is where you can find the belief that will serve you more. And then 2 things, you condition yourself to the new belief through repetition, but also spend time looking for evidence to back up your new empowering belief. Really important. Okay, guys, so let's just have a quick recap. I'm going to check. So what you've learned so far, you now know that debt and financial scarcity are not the problem. They're an effect. To create a life that is debt-free and prosperous, you must deal with the cause, the root of the problem, namely your subconscious habitual patterns of thought that have become deep-seated beliefs that have become negative and oftentimes debilitating emotional states of being. So we talked about the solution being awareness, of which there are 4 levels: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. So just to recap the 3 we've covered so far, physical awareness engages your brain with clarity and specificity of your direction. Emotional awareness releases the dense, stuck energy, clears your vibrational frequency of the low-level shame-related emotions, and liberates your body of its habituated stress response, aka you reset to your natural state of happy. And then the 3rd state, mental awareness, gives you access to the limiting beliefs and poverty consciousness that have up to now kept you stuck and small. And with awareness, you get to decide to replace those old beliefs with empowering new beliefs. Okay, so let's now talk about the final level of awareness. This is awareness at the spiritual level. Okay, so this is where life gets really delicious, because as you go through the first 3 levels, you start to open up to the understanding that you're never working alone to accomplish your desires. You become aware of and you receive guidance step by step. You start living your life in the context of living in a field of infinite possibilities, infinite intelligence, and unlimited abundance. You become open to inspired ideas, flashes of insight, serendipities that you could never have predicted. So when you're full of doubt and feeling despondent or even hopeless around your debt and financial lack, you're messing with the how. You may have heard of Mike Dooley wrote Leveraging the Universe. He calls the how the cursed hows. You've got to stop messing with how. No wonder you feel bad when you can't see how you'll ever reach your big financial goals. And to add to the overwhelming fear, you imagine struggle, sacrifice, and hard work, which is all that low-level energy. So when you focus all of your energy onto the one known way that you could possibly get the money, you shut yourself off from all the other possibilities and unknown, aka surprising and delightful ways through which that money could come. So there are unlimited ways that the money can come to you. So when you're focused on just one way, the one known to you way, you cut yourself off from all the other avenues. So awareness at the spiritual level means accepting that you live in a field of infinite possibility and unlimited abundance, accepting on faith until it becomes known to you, until it becomes knowledge that there are infinite ways through which your debt-free life can manifest. So with faith, acceptance, and anticipation, go about your life. Allow yourself to be open to abundance in all its forms. So just as an example, when I let go of the need to control the how and I opened myself up to receiving greater abundance and prosperity, literally things just started happening so fast. In 1 week, I had an offer to build me a new website from my tech guru. I had a brand makeover and photo shoot. I had a Facebook ads creation from an expert, an inspired idea that helped me complete a lucrative project, and money, the biggest ever month in my business, a £30,000 month. Up to then, I'd never had money like that into my life. So all of those things came into my experience all within a 5-day period from the moment I let go and I opened myself up to the possibility that I was living in the context of a world that is unlimited and abundant and infinite in its intelligence. And even when the time came to think about how I was going to turn my draft manuscript into a published book, bearing in mind I'd never written a book before, I had no clue, all of a sudden a sequence of events unfolded, which meant my book was printed, published, and publicized by a professional company effortlessly, as far as I was concerned, and with zero financial outlay from me. It landed in my lap. I was tripping the light fantastic, connected with the field of infinite possibility, and life was truly opening up to me. And this is what I want for you. So this level of awareness, the spiritual level of awareness, grants you ultimate freedom and joyful expression of your authentic self. As a culmination of your commitment to the first 3 levels, you're no longer hiding, you're no longer playing small. The mask of the ego is dissolved and there's no need to suppress. You are vibrating at the highest frequencies of peace of mind, joy, and love. Your natural states, they are your natural states, and they draw to you all that you desire. So you must experience these states unconditionally. And when you do, the irony is you'll attract to you all of the conditions you desire. So you have to experience these states unconditionally. So how do we do that? Well, I love to call it the spiritual gym. Visit the spiritual gym daily and exercise discipline. So what would visiting the spiritual gym look like? It looks like sitting in silent meditation, having continual awareness. This isn't one and done, guys. This is constant awareness. Whenever you feel triggered, whenever something comes up that makes you feel bad, you know you can sit in the awareness at the emotional level, find the mental awareness, step into the spiritual awareness, but continual awareness. Gratitude, you all know that. Gratitude is the granddaddy of all personal development, but do that every day. Envisioning what you want. These are all really powerful practices that I teach as part of this, helping people to free themselves from the lack and scarcity. And don't be fooled by simplicity. This is where the power is. The fact that it's simple is where the power is. So through practice, you fully recognize who you are and life becomes effortless. Everything you need seems to appear with an ease and flow that just takes over your life. Awareness brings truth, and that truth is that you are worthy, deserving, and inherently abundant. So what happened next? I just want to share a little bit more of my story. So that is me in Sedona on an incredible retreat I went on. I was just living so abundantly and happy. So I want to just share with you what happened next. Once the book was published, it was, I can tell you, one of the most terrifying days of my life, the day that this book was published, because it was like I was sharing my dirty laundry with the world. It was my biggest shame secret, all of a sudden, out there. But what amazed me and humbled me, and to this day chokes me, is the response. That my book went straight to #1 in 3 different categories, including personal finance, psychology, and mindset. And people were reaching out to me, thanking me, saying that, this book has changed their lives. They can't believe that, they're not alone. They thought that it was just them and they were flawed in some way. So this incredible response. And what happened was then somebody asked me, or a few people asked me, I'm waiting for the workbook, or is there a course to accompany this? And I thought, that's a really great idea. So I created an 8-week course and took a small cohort. There was about 24 people, I think, going through this initial course that I ran, just testing it out. And what happened was truly incredible. So these people, these screenshots are from that first cohort that spent the time with me, doing the work, going through the process. Once the 8 weeks was done, they actually said, we don't want to stop. We're gathering momentum. How can we carry on? And so we did. We just carried on meeting every week. And you can see here, people getting great shifts. This girl at the top getting more discovery calls, people reaching out to me as opportunities to create more streams of passive income. Somebody's paid off a total of 32K in credit card and personal debt since June. So that was about 5-6 months. Top right there, I'm so happy to share. I've paid off 20,000 of my credit card debt. I can't wait to pay off the rest. This community has been amazing. And the middle one there, honestly, I've never been so close to feeling enlightened. Bottom right, I know this is small in comparison to some, but it's a milestone for me. I've gone over £5,000 in the first few weeks and money keeps coming in. So you can see there the incredible results. And I realized this is real. It wasn't just for me. These are universal principles that can work for anybody. And this is just why I am so passionate about doing this work. It is powerful stuff. And it's why I created the Paid in Full and Prospering Academy. It was truly amazing to see people break free from their old limiting beliefs and experience the joy and freedom that comes from clearing their debts and living into the truth of who they really are. So what happens now? So I love this picture. It makes me look about 12, and it was only taken last year. But what happens now? Well, let me ask you, do you want to experience the kind of transformation and growth that will set you free from debt and financial lack forever? Are you ready to apply the principles of awareness with expert support and guidance? Would you like to bypass the years of trying to figure it out yourself and accelerate your progress and success? If you answered yes to any of those or all of those, then this is my invitation to you. I'm inviting you to join my Paid in Full and Prospering Academy. Now, before I say another word, I really want to position this up front by saying this is not an ordinary course. This is not another course. You don't need another course clogging up your inbox, especially if you're anything like I was and the great unfinisher. And the fact is, research shows 15% of courses bought ever get completed. So what does that mean? It means that 85% of people don't get the results they seek in spite of their good intentions. And I just don't want that for my people. So I also know that you can get great results by doing a course for 8 weeks or 12 weeks, get amazing results. But once it's over and you're on your own again, it's all too easy to slip back into old habits, to self-sabotage or hit up against new levels of devils. As they say, with every new up level, there's a new devil. And it's so easy to fall back into old habits and old patterns once you're kind of out there on your own after the course. So I knew I had to create something different that would provide the right level of ongoing coaching and support. I want to give you a holistic, immersive experience. So this is how the Paid in Full and Prospering Academy works. So I want you to join me for 12 months worth of coaching, support, and accountability to achieve your goals. We kickstart your journey with 8 weeks of live teaching and training with me, during which I'll teach you the principles and processes to clear your inner blocks and beliefs, to raise your awareness at all those 4 levels, and master your prosperity consciousness. You also, for those 12 months, get 24/7 access to an online membership with a resource library of trainings, workshops on all things mindset, money, and marketing. And we have weekly calls every Friday in which you get to ask your questions, receive hot seat coaching and mastermind, which, I mean, that's been priceless. And that, for my Paid in Full family, that's where they say they get the most breakthrough and the most sort of the best results, the success. And most of all, you get access to an exclusive community of like-minded, high-minded peers who are sharing your journey, celebrating your successes, and supporting you every step of the way. Now, this is priceless. You know, consider how becoming, just for a moment, how becoming free of debt and living in alignment with your abundant and prosperous truth will positively impact you, your business, and your relationships. You know, as you transform your experience of life, you'll positively influence everyone around you, your loved ones, your children, your clients. Everyone around you will benefit. So the Paid in Full and Prospering Academy is an immersive, fully involved and interactive 12-month membership. And it is my job that I take really seriously to coach, teach, and support you to get the results you want. Your job is to say yes to yourself, show up, and play full out. So I'm inviting you to decide today. I know this was a bit of a wonky beginning, but you've seen what works. You've gone through the training, and I'm inviting you to decide. The doors to the Paid in Full and Prospering Academy are now open. We go live on Monday, the 8th of March. So this coming Monday at 5 o'clock UK time, 12 o'clock Eastern. Your investment is just £67 per month for 12 months. Or if you pay in full, you get 2 months free, which is a saving of £134. That's £670. And also the first 5 to sign up today will receive a private one-to-one laser coaching session with me to dial in and clear your deepest subconscious block. So once again, these are the results that the first cohort got, which was just incredible. So just to recap, for £67 per month, you get 12 months worth of coaching, support, and accountability to achieve your goals. 8 weeks of live training, the course to teach you the principles and processes to clear your inner blocks and beliefs and raise your awareness. You get access 24/7 to the membership library full of trainings, masterminds, workshops on all things mindset, money, and marketing. You get access to me every single week on live calls to receive hot seat coaching, get your questions answered, and mastermind. And of course, access to the community who will be celebrating your successes, sharing your journey, and supporting you every step of the way, which is absolutely priceless. So guys, I'm going to switch the screen now so I can see you, and let me stop share. And if you have any questions, so Sophia's just put in the chat. Thank you, Sophia, has put in the chat.
Yeah, I'm just putting the yearly one. Sorry.
So
also, I wanted to share with you the poll results because I think they're quite interesting. So I put the first one. So I asked everybody, in what range is your debt currently? And between 5K and 20K is 33.33%. And 20K plus is 66.67. So you're in the right place. You're in the right place.
In the right place.
And how long you've been in debt? Up to 10 years had 50%. And as long as I can remember, had 50%. Now listen to this one. The third poll was, what have you tried in the past to clear your debt? Budgeting, 50%. I sound like that European Song Contest. All the way from Portugal. Cutting back on luxuries, 25%, and law of attraction practices, 25%. So budgeting. But I think we had an amazing presentation from Sanae, and I think we can go into questions. If anybody wants to unmute themselves and ask a question to Sanae, you're most welcome. I also have, I don't know if you want me to do that, I also have a sneak peek of the membership. Shall I put it on?
Welcome to the Paid in Full and Prospering Academy. So I just wanted to give you this sneak peek behind the scenes video of what it looks like once you are inside the Academy. So we start live with the full 8-week program on Monday, the 8th of March at 5 o'clock UK time, which is 12 o'clock Eastern. And you will be guided every single Monday through the 8 core modules, which are these core modules. So we will be doing this live, although you have access to the pre-recorded trainings as well, just to review here. So we go through clearing the limiting beliefs and blocks around money, clearing the shame as a habitual state. We look at empowering your state with processes and practices to raise your frequency. We talk about flooding your prosperity consciousness and the techniques to do that, how to create your own reality by clearing those saboteurs, those subconscious saboteurs. We talk about how to interpret your experience so you never feel out of control. Again, you can take full responsibility. We look at how to eliminate distractions and negativity from your environment to support your financial and life goals. We look at quantum creating, so flexing your consciousness muscle and raising awareness to those stories so you can rewrite them, and then how to become the person you need to become in order to achieve your goals. And then there are 4 bonus modules here as well, but the core content are these 8 weeks that I will be guiding you through starting on Monday the 8th of March 2021. And also you've got access to live Q&A calls which we host every Friday, and the recordings are uploaded in this membership site if you can't make them live or you miss any. But also what's really valuable is throughout the year I host masterclasses and workshops to support you in any area of your growth. So here we've got past calls, such as planning your ultimate week for maximum productivity without the overwhelm, which is an incredible call. So many people got so much value out of that. We do the Dickens exercise to help you overcome limiting beliefs, get more done and have more fun, managing your time. So you might think, well, what's this got to do with paying off my debt and raising prosperity? Well, this is about helping you to achieve more by mastering your mindset, showing you techniques that are really powerful. And also you're going to get extra trainings on mastering the art of effective communication, mastering your money mindset, marketing, posts for social media, because I know what it's like as an entrepreneur. There's so much that you want to master. Well, you can do it all with me in this community. And we've got Creating Your Perfect Vision Board with my guest expert, Lara Doherty from the Motivation Clinic. So you've got all sorts of access to additional types of trainings on all topics that will support you in your growth. And you've got your resource library here with all sorts of worksheets that will support you through each of the main core modules. So this is a very quick sneaky peek. You obviously get access to the Facebook exclusive community, which is where we hang out as a family and where we meet every week for our Zoom calls. So I hope you found this enlightening. I would love to support you on your debt-free journey so you can truly prosper in life and business. So yeah, if you've got any questions, just tag me, find me on Facebook, or you can ask after my masterclass.
If nobody has questions, I've got some that people asked before, so I can ask you that.
Yep.
Cool. So one of them that I'm quite curious about knowing as well, what practical things did you do, Sanae, to clear your debt?
Okay, so practical things. I think there are lots of practical things. The first thing is to get really clear on the reality of the situation and create, as I said, the awareness at the physical level is about creating that spreadsheet. I detailed all of my debt and had different columns. I also had a reducing column so I could see my balance reducing. So that was kind of helped me. I did contact utilities and creditors to negotiate better deals. I remortgaged my property to a lower interest rate. I thought I was pretty on top of things when it came to all my outgoings, but I was surprised. I actually saved quite a few £100s per month by ringing around and renegotiating. And I remember reading something that said you might not think you can find an extra money every month, but you always can. It's there. So I took action and I saved myself some money that way. I didn't budget. I will say that. I know 50% of respondents said they tried budgeting. I didn't, because that made me feel restricted and it put me in a lackful energy, a lackful state. But what I did do, and I know, Sophia, you've tried this and you had amazing results, I tracked money coming in. From pennies found in the street to money off coupons in the supermarket, to income from clients, to gifts of money. I started to connect to a sense of abundance by tracking money coming in. And when you focus on money coming in as opposed to money coming out, which is what we're more practiced at doing, you've got to just practice focusing on money coming in. I started to attract more money coming in. So don't dismiss the penny on the street. The denomination is irrelevant. It's still money. So yeah, I like I said, I didn't budget, but I did get sensible and just tracked my income as well as got really clear on where I was financially.
And I think gratitude, right? Because if you're grateful for the little penny, it just starts growing and growing, and you attract more. Yeah. So I've got another one here. I understand how the inner work will benefit me, but how exactly will it help me pay off my debt?
Really good question. So here's what you'll find as you do this up-leveling, this transformation, the inner transformational work. The first thing is you clear the stress. So when you clear the stress, you create space. You create space for yourself to think clearly, to make better decisions, you feel more empowered, you feel more in control. So when you're in that kind of state of mind, you then become more open. Because of that space, you become more open to inspired ideas, you receive creative downloads, you have those eureka moments that you must act on immediately. So as you receive inspirations and hunches and you take action on them, you start to create the situations and the circumstance that will help you pay off your debt. So I'll give you a very quick example, one that springs to mind. When I started to clear the stress and allow the real intense emotions to dissipate, and I started to make space mentally and get clear and all of that, and start releasing the trauma and the money wounds and all the negativity, I just got a download that was just like so obvious in the moment, but I hadn't thought of it before. And the download was simply to raise my coaching rates and also to make the program a bit longer. So I went from 3 months to 4 months, 12 calls in 3 months, but still 12 calls, but over 4 months. So it was better for the client. They got a bit more spaced out coaching. They got more time to take action. And I increased my rates by £2,000. So my rate then became 8,000 within
Brilliant.
2 weeks. Pardon?
Brilliant.
Yeah. And within 2 weeks, I signed up 2 clients at that new rate. So it was almost like the idea had been presented to me. I acted on it, and immediately I was rewarded for taking that action. So whilst it feels a bit like, how does this inner work actually help me physically pay off my debt? Well, that is how you become open to the infinite possibilities and inspiration.
So I don't know if anybody has any questions. I've got more. If everybody's very shy to ask.
These are ones that people have typed in, isn't it? So in previous.
Yeah. So what if my partner, spouse, boyfriend, whatever, is also contributing to the debt, and he doesn't believe in this mindset, law of attraction stuff? I call it malarkey. Thinks it's all rubbish. How can I handle this?
That's a really common problem, really common question as well, that, how do I deal with somebody who I love, who is right in my space, who is completely negative and thinks that all this is rubbish? So the thing I'll say here is that you don't underestimate how powerful you are if you choose to be. And as you do the work on healing your own relationship with money and debt, your own experience will change. And you can do this for yourself. You don't need anyone else. You can be you can create this for yourself. You don't need to talk about it. I would stop talking about it immediately with my spouse. I wouldn't ever put myself in a position where I have to defend what I'm doing or defend my beliefs, because when you defend, you lower your vibration. You start to get into that state of it's defensiveness, and it's not an abundant state of being. So you focus on just clearing the smallest balance yourself. This is you testing the process for yourself. And as you do that, you work your way up. And you can then lead by example, but more powerfully than that, you lead by demonstration. So if your partner wants the same, your spouse, your husband, wife, whatever, wants the same, they want to be paid in full, then actually demonstrating that this works is the best example. I was embarrassed. I remember I was embarrassed by the processes. I was embarrassed to have post-it notes with affirmations everywhere. I was embarrassed to have statements with the balances whited out and all of that. But I decided that I had to no longer feel shame for trying everything. That's what became more important to me, the fact that I was going to try anything and everything. And so I had to have an open conversation with my partner at the time and say to him, I am willing to try anything. And so these are the processes that I'm going to try, and, don't judge me, was basically what I had to ask. And I mean, I was fortunate, he was great, but I know a lot of partners can be quite dismissive of this stuff. But as I said, you have to recognize how powerful you are, and you get to choose.
I know that mine does. I think it's all rubbish. So I had to prove him as well the opposite. So yes. Now, another one. I feel guilty about the debt I owe to my family, but my credit card debt is the most expensive. What should I clear first?
Yeah, that's a good question. I had a very similar situation. I owed 10,000 to my mum. She never held any kind of, she never made me feel bad. I felt bad. But I noticed one of the behaviors was anytime I would tell my mum that I was going away for the weekend or I was doing something nice, going to a nice restaurant, anything like that, whilst I owed her that money, every time I told her that, I suddenly wished I could pull it back and regretted telling her, and I'd feel guilty because I think she's thinking, oh, all right for you going out and having a good time and having your weekends away. Where's my money? She wasn't, but that was the thought process I had. So it used to make me feel awful. I felt so much guilt. So for me, the important thing, and I had the credit cards that were more expensive too. I never paid interest to my mum. So I worked on clearing the guilt first. So if you're you're in a vibration of guilt, low level frequency, you will attract more to feel guilty about. So it's important to tap into what meaning you've given the debt that you owe to your family and the source of that guilt in order to clear it. Because again, as you clear the guilt, you'll be able to make more informed and empowered decisions around what is the best option, which one to pay off first. You may find you can negotiate a lower rate to your credit card and repay your family first, or once you've cleared the guilt and that emotional resonance is more empowered as opposed to weak and disempowered, you may be able to have a really meaningful conversation with your family and get their, reassurance and have that level of connection with your family. But the important thing is nothing has any meaning but the meaning we give it. So that's what creates the negativity. That's what makes us feel so bad. It's the meaning we've given it.
I've got one more and that's it.
Okay.
So what if I want to do the paid in full academy, but I don't have any spare money at all?
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's a good question. So what I would say to you is a couple of things. You can begin practicing what I've taught in this webinar to shift from the restrictive lack and scarcity mindset, because that's what it is. It's a lack and scarcity mindset. It's a mindset that's saying there's no more money. This is a finite supply. Because as you do the work to up-level your mindset and exercise faith and belief in your ability, your supply increases. And I would say that whatever you step up to do, the universe will meet you with resources to support you. So even if you feel, and I've done this many times, I've stepped up to the next level, I've made a committed decision, I'm going to invest in this program, I'm going to invest in this, made a committed decision, the resources show up because I've grown to that level. And even within the first 4 weeks of the program, we go really intense. You will clear so much of that negativity in those first 4 weeks. If you're paying monthly, that by the end of that, you will be in a different state for the following month. So I would say really you're looking for that first payment, because after that, as long as you show up and do the work with me, you will have incredible results. I mean, even last week I did a 5-day challenge. And people were manifesting refunds and checks, and it was just incredible. And that was just in the first 3 days. So it's all about what you're repelling and blocking, as opposed to when you clear that, it will all flow in. That's
great. And I like to say as well, like when I needed some money, I was looking around and say, what can I get rid of? What can I sell? Or I was looking for ways to find the money. Do you see what I mean? So I'll just like do a car boot sale, or some books that I don't need anymore, sell them, on eBay or something like that. So some practical kind of actions that, and by doing that, it actually helped me to kind of bring more to me. So that was good.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, you're getting into empowered action.
Yeah. So I don't know what you want to say. Sanae, something else?
So I'm just going to leave it with you guys. So drop me an email. I would love to support you through this. If there are those of you who have clicked on the poll and said you've got over 20k in debt and you've been in debt for as long as you can remember, now is the time. It all ends now. So that's all I want to say to you guys. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing me to share this with you. This is now my life's work. This is what I'm very passionate about. So thank you for being with me, and thank you so much for jumping into Zoom. And I'm so sorry for the confusion at the outset. We're gonna have to do this again, Sophia.
Yes. Over and over.
All right, guys. So loads of love to you, and yeah, I shall see you soon, and hopefully see you in the Painful and Prospering Academy.
Thanks so much, everybody, for coming over to the Zoom meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.